Mm. So, mm. Sure. Mm. Sure. Sure.
Hare Krishna, Mama, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, can you mute, all of you, mute yourself? Thank you. Okay.
Ồ, này rồi.
Hmm?
Lại về à, biết?
I think it's like, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining. So, after a long break of more than a year, we are going to resume the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the previous sessions, when we stopped, we actually completed up to Canto 3. Canto 3, Chapter 5, verse number 22. That was the last verse we discussed. And because it's a long time, I would like to summarize in a very quick way. We're going to summarize the chapters, the entire Canto actually, Canto 1 and Canto 2, up to whatever we have studied so far. So let's begin with the prayer. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajiva Sadvaitam Savadutam Panchadasatitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Nittamscha He Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Vishvanusite Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivadhadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we are going to start this discussion with the importance of studying Srimad Bhagavatam among the so many Vedic literatures. You can sit here, I think, comfortable. There are so many Vedic literatures Sri Vyasdev has given us. However, among all these literatures, the Srimad Bhagavatam is a Amala Puran. And Srila Prabhupada, who has written so many literatures, he has translated so many books in English. All the essence of all the Vedic literatures which we saw here, Srila Prabhupada actually summarized everything in these 4 books. Like Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, is uh, is representing all the Puranas. The contents of the Puranas, whatever is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he has given in that. And the Bhagavatam itself is the actually commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. It is verified by Sri Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Bhagavad Pranam. So, Vedanta Sutra, the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra is Srimad Bhagavatam. And therefore, our acharyas have not invested their time in writing another commentary on Vedanta Sutra itself. Similarly, if you see Nectar of Devotion, it talks about the code of conducts and the contents of the Pancharatra can be found in the Nectar of Devotion. And of course, Bhagavad Gita is Gita Upanishad. So it's the essence of all the Upanishads. Even Lord Chaitanya's conclusive opinion is Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. Any pramana we want to, any proof we want to get, we must approach Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? This is a very nice verse. Chaitanya Matta Manjusa by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And it was originally written by Mataji, you know the name? Who was the original writer of this verse? No. Yeah. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he didn't compose this, but he mentions this verse many, many times. Right? Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajes Tanayas. Tad Dhama Vrindavanam. Our goal of Krishna consciousness, what Srila Prabhupada presented, is on the philosophy which is presented to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed 5 different personalities. One was Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, right? Then Prakash Ananda Saraswati. So there is a discussion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all these devotees. However, the Sambandha part, we'll see today that the essential teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can be categorized, as well as the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam can be categorized into 3 categories: Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. These are the 3 tattvas we need to know. Sambandha means our relationship with Krishna. Abhideya means the process of establishing that relationship. Right now it is broken. The process of re-establishing that relationship, that is Abhideya. And Prayojana means goal. So for each of these subject matters, there is an Acharya. Sambandha Acharya is Srila Sanatana Goswami. Abhideya Acharya is Srila Rupa Goswami. Prayojana Acharya is Raghunath Das Goswami. So these are the 3 Goswamis who are been assigned as an Acharya of these topics. Right? So here the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam can be easily understood. Srimad Bhagavatam is Pramanam Amalam. Amalam means it is untouched by any kind of mala. Mala means contamination. There is no contamination in Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll see that why this is called as Amala Puranam. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand that the highest goal, there are 4 goals of life: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. But Bhagavatam presents something beyond this fifth. He presents a 5th goal. And that 5th goal is Prema Pumartho Maha. Prema, which is higher than these 4 goals. And today we'll see in the 4th chapter of Canto 1, Vyasadeva, even after compiling everything, he was dissatisfied. Therefore, his spiritual master approached him and he said that whatever you have presented is for general mass of people. Even the writer is not satisfied by that. So it is for general mass of people, and you have only described dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So unless you describe the 5th goal, right, which is prema, unconditional love for Krishna, unless you describe this prema, you will not be satisfied. Neither you will be satisfied, nor your disciples or the readers will be satisfied. So therefore, he rewrote the Bhagavatam. He rewrites the entire literature, including the pastimes of Sri Krishna. So we see that we have heard about the literatures presented to us by Srila Prabhupada. So the first one is Bhagavad Gita. When we come into Krishna consciousness, we are presented with the philosophy which is presented in this book, right? Bhagavad Gita as it is. Right? So what is the major philosophy? That's basically we have the Karma Yoga, we have the Jnana Yoga. So these are different yogas. First of all, Krishna gives the confidential knowledge in Bhagavad Gita. The confidential knowledge is knowledge about, right, the difference between soul and body. Right? And he introduces the concept of liberation. So that is explained in as a confidential knowledge, because most of the people, they even don't know that we are not this body, we are actually soul. So that knowledge is guhya, confidential. Right? And then from there, he goes to the more confidential knowledge. He introduces, around in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, introduces the concept of Paramatma or super soul, right? So that is more confidential knowledge. Then he reveals about himself from 7 to 12. So that is the concept of Bhagavan. And in the 9th chapter, the most confidential knowledge is discussed in detail. Krishna reveals about him in the 9th chapter.
परमात्मा कैसे है प्रभु चैप्टर 5 में, दैट इज कर्म योगा, पर सेकंड चैप्टर में ही परमात्मा के वर्ड्स हैं, ऑफ द टू बर्ड्स सिटिंग ऑन वन
That is in the purports, not in the verses.
फिफ्थ चैप्टर
Fifth में first time that's where it's introduced. So after that, the details about Paramatma is given more in the 13th chapter, and all these details are given in the Jnana Yoga section. However, if you see that the essence or the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains this verse. Srila Ramanujacharya, he says this is the Paribhasa Sutra, basically, is the most important verse of the entire Bhagavad Gita. That Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshashyami Masucha. That's where it ends. And then the Bhagavatam begins with from that point. That one needs to surrender to Lord Sri Krishna. So Bhagavatam begins with that conception, and then it ends with this Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranasanam Pramana Dukkha Samanastam Namami Harim Param. So I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. Right? The congregational chanting of whose holy names destroys all sinful reaction. So this is where Bhagavatam ends. So Sankirtan Yagya is the last instruction given in Srimad Bhagavatam. And when we perform Sankirtan Yagya, chanting of the holy name, definitely all our sins are destroyed. But it also helps us to attain prema for Sri Krishna. Yeah. And that's where actually Chaitanya Charitamrita begins. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. Prasad. Right. So Chaitanya Charitamrita begins from that. All pastimes in details of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his devotees, these leelas. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we should need to understand that the purpose of, there is an external reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and then there is an internal reason. Right? So not going into the details, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the last chapter, which is the Siksastakam prayers. This is a pinnacle of Chaitanya Charitamrita, where how a prema bhakta, what is his state of consciousness, that has been discussed. So these are, Srila Prabhupada has given us the essence of all this literature, and the essence is basically the Nama Sankirtan. And as I discussed earlier, that there are 3 subject matters: Bhagavan Sambandha, Bhakti Abhideya, and Prema Pravajan. So this is all verses from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So one has to establish Bhagavan Sambandha with Bhagavan. How do we establish that? By the process which we follow. So this is Abhideya. And the Prema, the goal, which is Prema. This is the third thing, basically. These are the 3 subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam. So with this, the Bhagavatam was originally spoken by the Supreme Lord himself to Vyasdev in the second canto. So this is the verse. And he explained only the 4 verses. He gave the entire Bhagavatam in 4 slokas. So this will come in the next class, hopefully, if we are able to complete the canto 1 discussion today. Hopefully this will come in the next class. That, when Brahmaji was approached by the Supreme Lord, he gave him this 4 sloka. Right? And he explained about himself. And then Brahmaji, along with the Narada and other his disciples, he expanded this entire Bhagavatam into this 18,000 verses. So if you quickly see the chronology of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vyasdev, after writing all the scriptures, as I showed in the very first slide, so many literatures were shown. Like Vedas has all these things. This is the entire Vedic knowledge. This is so many sections. Like majorly there are like 2 things, Shruti and Smriti. Right? And within the Shruti there are Vedas, the 4 Vedas. And within the 4 Vedas there is Rig, Sham, Yajur and Atharva. And these are the major 4 Vedas. And then there are Upar Vedas and Vedangas, rituals, tantras. Right? Again, within the tantras, Rajasiks, Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. Then there are Pancharatras for Vaishnava worship, Puranas, there are 18. So after giving all this, he was still dissatisfied. So at that time, you can see over here, Narad Muni, he approaches Vyasdev. And then Narad Muni resolves this despondency by saying that, you need to edit what you have written. Because what you have written is for, he actually, very strong words he is using. He is using the word, it's for the pilgrimage of crows. This is in the 5th chapter. So he says that, you need to edit this and include Krishna's pastimes. So Vyasdev then, meditated based on the instruction given by his guru. He meditated upon that, and then he received that knowledge in his heart. He received that knowledge, and then he wrote this. He spoke it to, first of all, he spoke it to his son, Sukadeva Goswami. And then Sukadeva Goswami also narrated this to Parikshit Maharaj. Over here you see. So he narrated this entire thing to Parikshit Maharaj. And
It is not written.
Huh?
It is not written.
It was not, it was verbally spoken at that time.
So who spoke first time to this?
So here Vyasdev. Vyasdev is speaking to his son over here. See, this is Vyasdev and this is his son Sukadeva Goswami. He is hearing from him. Right. So when he received the knowledge, first he spoke it to his son. And then he expanded on this and he spoke it to Parikshit Maharaj.
So basically he spoke all 18,000 verses.
No, not everything. He didn't speak there because the first canto, if you see, is just the narration written later. So he gave the essential philosophy to it. And then even, so like that, we expand. Even when we speak today, we add more things, isn't it? So like that, the speaker has, of course, we are not at that level, but the speaker has some leeway to expand and explain it properly based on the question and answers.
Then when Sukadeva Goswami talked to Parikshit Maharaj, he spoke all the verses with him.
Yes. So whatever is there right now from Canto 2, that was what he spoke.
From Canto 2,
Yeah.
not Canto 1.
Not Canto 1.
Canto 1 is a preface.
Preface, yeah. So Canto 2 onwards, whatever he spoke is written there. So after that, Sukadeva Goswami, after that, there were sages in Naimisharanya. Here you see the sages in Naimisharanya. These sages, they were performing yajna for more than 1,000 years because they were knowing that in the age of Kali, things are not good for people in general. So therefore, they are praying for them. At that time, Sutta Goswami was also present. And they knew that Sutama Goswami was present in the assembly where Sukadeva Goswami narrated Srimad Bhagavatam. So they asked Sutta Goswami that, can you narrate us what you have heard? So this is where actually the Bhagavatam begins. The chapter 1 of Bhagavatam begins that the sages are requesting Sutta Goswami to narrate what they have heard in the assembly. And so there are Q&A, question and answer, that is going on. So Q&A is going on at multiple levels. So the first level is the sages at Naimisharanya is asking Sutta Goswami. And then Sutta Goswami is saying that this question was asked in the assembly where I attended here. Sutta Goswami is present here. And this is how Sukadev Goswami answered that question. This is how the Q&A is going on. So after that, Vyasdev also presented. Vyasdev was also present here actually. Vyasdev, Narad Muni, all of them were present here when Sukadev Goswami was narrating the Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So after that, see, earlier the way the communication used to happen was all verbal because people had amazing memories. Even 1,000 years back, they had amazing memories. One is like example of Quraysh. He read the literature. Then they went to Kashmir. He scanned the book in the whole night, and he remembered the whole thing, and he wrote that book. So anyway, people had memory, but in Kali Yuga, our memory is dwindling. Right? The characteristics of the age of Kali, Vyasdev explains later in Bhagavatam. Right? So Bhagavatam is basically natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra, and this has been established by none other than Madhvacharya. Right? So Madhvacharya, he gives the reference from the Garuda Puran that that the meaning of the Vedanta Sutra is present in Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore, there is no need to write additional commentary on Vedanta Sutra. It is an expansion of the Vedanta Sutra. So this is the verse that talks about that. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam, as we have received from Srila Prabhupada and what is available, Prabhu, you can sit. No worries. Huh?
ऊपर नहीं बैठ
नहीं, नहीं, बैठ.
थोड़ी देर
No
पीछे
worries.
बैठ कर ऊपर हाँ थोड़ी देर पीछे बैठ कर
Most thing is important is comfortable. Just don't sleep. That's all. So there are 12 cantos, and this is in the Srimad Bhagavatam 12th canto, 13th chapter, verse 4 and 5. This description is given that this Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, it has 335 chapters, and it has 18,000 verses. We have heard this many times. And this canto 1 has 808 verses. So our attempt today is to complete 808 verses. Let's see how much we can do. Of course, this Bhagavatam has 10 different topics, starting with Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, Uti. So each canto representing a topic. So these are the 10 topics of Bhagavatam. Manvantara, Ishanukata, Nirodhat, Mukti, and the 10th canto, which is the most important, Ashraya. So this is explained that every canto is geared towards reaching this goal of Ashraya, where Krishna's pastime is discussed. Ashraya, the Samam Bonam. Every canto is geared towards so that, this topic of Ashraya Tattva is established as well as, established or achieved both. Now, there are various commentators of Srimad Bhagavatam. There are so many commentators. In fact, in every 100 years, there are one or two commentators. However, of all these commentators, the topmost commentator based on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's discussion with Vallabha Bhatta or Vallabhacharya comes in Antya Lila, chapter 7, 133. I don't want to go into discussion of why this was spoken, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considers the as Sridhar Swami's commentary as the best commentary or a complete commentary. So here is the verse: Sridhar Swami Prasade Bhagavata Jani. So we understand Sridhar Swami's, by his mercy, one can understand Bhagavata Jani. Jagat Guru Sridhar Swami ke Guru Kare Mani. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood him as Guru. So that is the importance of Sridhar Swami. Now, when you read commentaries by other acharyas, so sometimes they'll write Swami said this, right? You see, like Jiva Goswami, he'll also say like Swami said this. So this Swami means Sridhar Swami. They're indicating Sridhar Swami. In the devotee circle, the Vaishnava circle, he is known as Swami. So that is Sridhar Swami. So he, unfortunately, only one canto is available. Hare Krishna Mataji. So unfortunately, a translation of only one canto is available. That's as far as I know.
श्रीधर स्वामी का
हाँ.
रियली
Yes,
कौन सा फर्स्ट
first canto is available.
रियली तो पर इतना रेफरेंसेस अपने आचार्यस को
हाँ, because with उन्होंने संस्कृत, because it's in Sanskrit, तो किसी ने इतना ज्यादा ट्रांसलेशन किया हुआ है.
You are saying that only from Sanskrit to English translated only canto one.
हाँ,
But all the 12 cantos come.
Yeah, he is there. Yeah, of course.
मेरे को लगा कैंटो ओनली वन
That's what
No,
I
no,
also
no.
understood.
No.
Okay.
He has the Yeah, I can send the link where the Sanskrit is there.
Archives.
Archives में हाँ, तो वहाँ मिल जाएगा. But the thing is, English translation नहीं हुआ है इसका. Because his commentary is, why it is complete, because it has covered all the aspects. So therefore, Sridhar Swami's commentary is the best commentary. They refer. So somebody who knows Sanskrit, like Amaranda Prabhu, they can actually read and give the purport.
Most of 10th canto, like after Prabhupada's purports, most of the purports are from Sridhar
Sridhar Swami only, right? Yeah.
समझ में नहीं आता, even though Prabhupada's disciples have translated it in
Yeah, but I think they have kept it as it is. Looks
yeah, you can't, especially the prayers of personified
like.
Vedas.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard to understand,
Yeah.
even the English.
Yeah. Therefore, I think we stick with right now with Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or Srila Prabhupada, of course.
महाराज कौन से कैंटो के बात कह रहे हो आप?
10th canto में.
कैंटो
Prabhupada
included है या नहीं है?
है उनका ज्यादा कमेंट्री डायरेक्ट एज इट इज रखा हुआ है.
10th में.
हाँ, बिकॉज आफ्टर प्रभुपाद लेफ्ट द बॉडी उन्होंने 10th कैंटो पूरा नहीं किया था.
अच्छा.
तो फिर उन्होंने दे जस्ट.
एक बात याद आ रही है, आपने भी पता सुना ही होगा, हरि पार्षद प्रभु ने बताया था कि वाई श्रीधर स्वामी की कमेंट्री महाप्रभु को अच्छी लगी थी. व्हाट वाज द रीजन? बिकॉज ही वाज द फर्स्ट वन हु इंक्लूडेड रसा. उससे पहले तक रस तत्व was not included. So just because he included that, that's why महाप्रभु liked it. वो है ना 13-12 कितने रस हैं. तो श्रीधर स्वामी was the first one. उन्होंने अपनी कमेंट्री में डाला था. That is why महाप्रभु liked it.
That's
But that is the first commentary. उसके पहले सिर्फ verses ही थे. There was no commentary
before that.
श्री स्वामी चैतन्य महाप्रभु से कितने साल पहले आए थे?
Yeah, काफी टाइम पहले.
300-400 years की.
Actually, yeah, about एक जगह पे मैंने नंबर लिखा हुआ है.
तो रामानुजाचार्य आए थे 1000 years पहले, उनको तो 1000 years हो गए.
एक जगह पे मैंने.
पर श्रीधर स्वामी उनसे पहले आए थे रामानुजाचार्य से.
Yes,
उनके बाद
पहले.
तो फिर तो काफी टाइम हो गया ना, क्योंकि महाप्रभु तो अभी 500 years पहले ही गए हैं.
Yes.
So
1300
Acharya was 1000 years ago.
हाँ, तो 1000 और रामानुजाचार्य से भी पहले आए थे श्रीधर स्वामी.
Exactly, तो नंबर दिया हुआ है, but I can send the. I have one slide in which I have put the numbers. कब आया है मुझे अभी exactly याद नहीं है. So Prabhupada, wanted us to study his book very diligently, and at least he's saying that 1 to 2 hours. But if it is not possible, at least, some time, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever time is possible. This is what Prabhupada is instruction for us. And this is a very nice I mean, I really like this particular purport of Srila Prabhupada. Um, how to see Krishna in person. Mm. How to see. So simply hearing is not at all. One must realize the text with proper attention. Now, I have highlighted the word attention because Prabhupada has given this word attention, and this attention is so important because when we are reading or studying, this has to happen in association of devotees. So generally, because of this world, because of the mobile devices and whatever things going around us, the world is designed in such a way that our attention span is getting lower and lower and lower. We want to get something understood within the span of like 30 seconds now. Even shorts. Therefore, there are shorts and all those things. And so this attention, but however, spiritual life is not geared towards it. It's a slow, gradual process. It needs lot of um, realizing things. It happens very, very slowly. It doesn't happen very fast because there are so many things that has to happen in sync in order to understand the subject matter properly. So it takes time. Right? There are 4 things has to be done. One is self-study, other is studying under a guru, right? And then discussing with others in association with others, studying literature in association with others. So self-study हुआ, guru के पास से सीखना हुआ, right? And you learn with discussion with others. And the 4th thing, even if you do all these things, the 4th thing is it will take time. Right? Because Krishna doesn't reveal himself very easily. Atah Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavat dhaya vidya. We cannot attain Krishna by just using our senses. When we serve, if Krishna is willing, he may appear to us or he may show things to us. Swayameya Spuradyata. So that will not happen unless Krishna will reveal. And when we are in this world where we are going in this fast pace, we want everything very quick. And when things don't come quick, our attention goes into various directions. Therefore, Prabhupada has written this with proper attention, with rapt attention, and then he is again using this word attention can. However, this attention will only happen when we have affection. If you are like, for example, the mothers, they love their kids, in general, right? Or parents love their kids. So they have affection for them. So when they have affection, automatically attention happens. You don't have to work towards attention. So Bhagavatam is when we study, we have to develop this tendency of developing while we study. We have to have this mindset that we develop affection for Krishna. Attention will be the byproduct when we have affection. It will be a byproduct. Krishna in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 1st verse, Maya asakta manapata, right? Very, very important verse. On Srila Prabhupada, when he was in this world, when he gave all the lectures, the maximum number of lecture is given on this particular verse. Why did he give that particular attention to that particular verse? Maya asakta mana. How to develop affection for Krishna. That is the solution given in that particular verse. Affection means attachment, love.
कहाँ पर है प्रभु?
7th chapter,
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 1st verse. In fact, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu actually he goes through. If I have that slide, I can bring it here. Bhagavad Gita. This one.
वो सर्कल वाली, राइट? ये होता है,
हाँ,
ये होता है. Yes.
If I have, oh Krishna. Chapter 5, 6. Hopefully I have.
Verse 1.
7.1.
7.1. तो वो उन्होंने बहुत ही अच्छी सी दिस इज अवर्स, how to develop attachment for Krishna or affection for Krishna. Again, it's the same thing, attachment, affection, same thing. So Krishna himself is saying, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Mai Asakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunyan Madashraya Asamsayam Samagram Mam Yatha Gyashyati Tat Shrivam. So Krishna is saying, first you hear about me. Right? And when you hear about him, you gain knowledge, and gradually there is a change in consciousness. So hearing is so important. And then you become free from doubts. Right? And when you become free from doubts, is Krishna going to protect when I am going through difficulties? Right? Or why Krishna is not protecting? Though he knows he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, he knows why he is not helping me at this stage when I am going through such a difficult time in my life. So these are the doubts everyone has. These are not something unnatural. But when we understand about Krishna, why he is doing whatever he is doing, then finally we want to take shelter of him. And how to take shelter? So the practicing the bhakti yoga process, which is given by him itself. And when you practice this, you mind slowly and gradually gets attached to Krishna. And you continuously, so this is not like one-time process. You keep hearing, gaining more knowledge, and then, however, this becomes very effective when we do it in Sangha, because Sangha gives us strength. Ekaki ama nahi paaye bal harinama sankirtan. The acharyas have told us, I cannot do anything on my own. I need Sangha. So therefore, Sangha is so important. And hearing in Sangha, the effect is multiple folds. And therefore, listen or hear carefully in association from right sources. I mean, sources, Srila Prabhupada has already given us the sources. His books, as well as the books of previous acharyas, or the literature given by the predecessor acharyas. In simple terms, Prabhupada has already covered in his books. However, you want to go in more depth, then you can reach those sources. And then you can experience Krishna in every page of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that is what Prabhupada is saying over here. Right? No one can be, okay. Right? But somehow or other, if we hear with rapt attention from the right person, at the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Krishna in person in the pages of Bhagavatam. You can experience Krishna in when we are reading. At least I am not experiencing myself. But when I am with all of you, actually, I experience it. That no, Krishna's presence is there. Sometimes when you are preaching, happens. Somebody asks questions and absolutely no idea what is the question being asked. And then Krishna from within, he guides us. Okay, this is the answer. But we have to be sincere,
वो आपने प्रोटेक्शन के लिए बोला अभी, किससे प्रोटेक्शन चाहिए हमें?
Protection from the onslaught of material nature.
वो तो
Because
मरना है हमारे को।
नहीं मरना नहीं, मरने की बात नहीं आ रहा है, हमको माया हर तरफ से अटैक कर रही है।
नहीं, वो कर रही है, वो तो इसकी मटेरियल वर्ल्ड की नेचर है।
हाँ,
वो किसी को नहीं छोड़ती।
करेक्ट।
प्रभुपाद को भी नहीं छोड़ा।
Yes, absolutely. Prabhupada was, that's why in Prabhupada they are not afraid of material nature. But then suddenly he prays, he bows down and he is praying, offering prayer to the deities. तो उनके डिसाइपल ने पूछा कि आप क्या प्रे कर रहे हो? तो बोलते मुझे माया से प्रोटेक्ट करो। तो फिर देन बोला प्रभुपाद अभी थोड़ी देर पहले आपने बताया कि माया कैनॉट टच मी, because I am praying, Maya cannot touch me. So I have that confidence in Krishna. So Krishna is protecting that, Prabhupada. Now हम उस लेवल पे नहीं है, but there is always onslaught of Maya with present so many things.
वो ये कंसेप्ट अगर देखा जाए, ये बॉडी लेवल पर है, हमारी बॉडी लेवल पर है प्रोटेक्शन जो है वैसे।
हाँ,
ठीक है, लेकिन हम लोग बॉडी नहीं है,
करेक्ट।
हम लोग आत्मा है। तो आदमी अगर उस आत्मा लेवल पे सोचेगा इस बात को, तो उसको प्रोटेक्शन मतलब जो हम प्रोटेक्शन की बात कर रहे हैं वो उसको नहीं चाहिए होगी अगर वो आत्मा लेवल पे सोचे तो।
एक बॉडी के लेवल पे भी है, बिकॉज वी आर जस्ट जस्ट द बॉडी, वी आर माइंड.
हम्म,
बॉडी इज द लीस्ट प्रॉब्लम ऑफ अस, आवर प्रॉब्लम इज एक्चुअली माइंड.
नहीं, ठीक बात है।
तो जो प्रोटेक्शन है वो माइंड का प्रोटेक्शन है, बॉडी का भी है. बॉडी इज इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज इट्स अ व्हीकल.
To do karma, body is doing it.
Body is there.
You have to protect.
But the protection which is being asked over here is the mental protection, because there is onslaught of Maya जब हम बोलते हैं तो ये हम, because mind, Arjuna is saying in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is saying that I can control wind, I can control air, but I can't control my mind. So not only in the process of bhakti yoga, but other yoga, everybody has to actually surrender to Krishna. जैसे हमने, आई थिंक इफ यू रिमेम्बर व्हेन वी आर रीडिंग द सेकंड कंटो द चतुर्श्लोकी, आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू रिकॉल दिस. इन द चतुर्श्लोकी विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर इन द थर्ड श्लोका इज सेइंग दैट विदाउट भक्ति other process are kind of useless. There has to be an element of bhakti in karma yoga. It's actually karma yoga mixed with bhakti. Jnana yoga mixed with bhakti. Ashtanga yoga mixed with bhakti. If this bhakti element is not there, this yoga doesn't stand on its own.
तो योगा तो सब वो मटेरियल ही है.
नहीं, वो कनेक्ट करना चाहते हैं ना योगा में भी. अल्टीमेटली दे वांट टू कनेक्ट विद द सुप्रीम इन वन और अदर वे. मे बी इट्स अ इम्पर्सनल लिबरेशन दे वांट, बट उसमें भी भक्ति एलिमेंट होना चाहिए. व्हाई? बिकॉज देयर इन भगवद गीता, राइट, देवी एषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्य. माई माया इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू ओवरकम. मामेव या प्रपद्यन्ते. अगर जो माया जो मेरे शरण में आता है, माया में तम तरंत है. Now every process, karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga, they all wants to get out of maya, isn't it? So they have to take shelter of Krishna. They must take shelter of Krishna. Without that, they cannot.
वही एक तरीका है, बस और कोई
और कोई तरीका नहीं है. So that protection is been talked about. कि माया हमको जिस तरह से अटैक करी, and Maya attacks our mind. This is there in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Maya actually attacking devotees, non-devotees, everybody through mind. हम लोग को चैंटिंग में क्यों प्रॉब्लम होता है मॉर्निंग में? Who is attacking? हम लोग तो घर में बैठे हैं या ना चैंट कर रहे हैं, राइट, वट एवर. एट दैट टाइम कौन हमको अटैक कर रहा है? माइंड इज अटैकिंग constantly, moving from one thought to another thought to the worst part is we most of the time we don't know that we are somewhere. That's the worst thing happening. So attention, affection, and association, these are the three important points. Thus now we'll start with the chapter 1. 7:47, the class starts now. So chapter 1 begins with the definition. The first 3 verses are very important, right? First verse defines the absolute truth. Absolute truth is discussed having these qualities. Is a primeval cause, it's cognizant, it's independent, enlightener, bewilderer, sorry. So these are the 7 characteristics of the absolute truth. And a living entity is part and parcel of the absolute truth. And then they have relationship. But currently that relationship is broken. So Sri Vyasdev offers his obeisances before presenting Srimad Bhagavatam. He is offering his obeisances to that absolute truth and take his shelter so that he can begin his journey of writing this book. So this is the definition which is given by Srila Vyasadeva, that this is what will be explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. And then in the second verse, he confirms that only this will be defined and discussion will happen on the definition based on what he has explained. and everything else will be rejected in Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is verse number 2. So whatever the subject matter of Bhagavatam will be what is the absolute truth, and any other topic than the absolute truth is rejected in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So that is the second verse. That any cheating relation kind of conception of God will be rejected in Srimad Bhagavatam. And he also glorifies Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the third verse, he says that when we understand the absolute truth in this way, then you will be able to relish the nectar which is present in Srimad Bhagavatam, because it's full of nectar. So this is the prelude. These 3 verses are the prelude, and after that, the qualification of one who is speaking Bhagavatam is given. Qualification of the representative of Vyasdev. So here it is talked about is Suta Goswami, right? Because Suta Goswami is going to narrate the discussion that happened between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami. So the qualities of a representative is given. And here, if you see in the picture, this is Shonaka Rishi and this is Suta Goswami. So he is asking on behalf of all these sages, he's asking questions. And these are the first 6 questions that has been asked. That what is the ultimate good for all the people? What is the essence of all scripture? For what purpose Lord Krishna appeared? And then the past tense, he's asking about the incarnations of the Lord. And he's also asking about the Purusha avatars. And after Krishna leaving this material world, so Krishna has left. At that, when Krishna was present, Dharma was present. Now Krishna left. Now where people are going to take shelter to get Dharma? So that was the last question. So this is basically chapter number 1.
ये कैंटो 1 का ये था.
हाँ, ये canto 1, chapter 1.
चैप्टर 1.
हाँ. So in chapter 1, ये discussion होता है. Basically, the sages headed by Shonaka Rishi is asking question to Suta Goswami. This is happening in where? It is happening in Naimishan. It's happening in Naimishan. Okay. So this is the second verse. First verse is Acharyas have given, they categorize based on Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan. So this is basically the Sambandha verses. This is the Abhideya Tattva. This glorifies Srimad Bhagavatam. Dharma Projita Kaitava. So Bhagavatam actually completely rejects materially motivated religion. So what are the materially motivated religion? Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. And it presents what? It presents the Panchama Purushartha, which is this Prema. Prema Pumartha Maha. So the
एक्सप्लेन करो.
कौन सा?
ये जो आपने अभी बताया.
तो
रिजेक्ट्स मटेरियली मोटिवेटेड रिलीजन. धर्म,
अर्थ, काम,
ये चारों चीजें ये मटेरियली
मोटेड होता है. When we perform dharma, we get artha. So dharma, when you perform dharma, which is present in the Vedic literature, when you live your life according to Varnashram system and whatever is presented in Vedas, how to live. So when you perform dharma on the basis of the Vedic literature, you get artha, wealth.
वेल्थ. ओके.
When you get wealth, then you need to, why are you getting wealth? It's a byproduct for fulfilling the desire. So dharma, artha, and then you fulfill your desire. Over here, kama means in general desires, including sex, right? And when you go through this cycle of dharma, artha, kama, one becomes tired after some time. So they want an alternative to exit. So then they are looking into those sections of Vedas which discusses the moksha, process of moksha.
बेसिकली ये करना नहीं चाहिए.
नहीं करना चाहिए, नहीं, because then you are stuck in this cycle में.
तो हम लोग यही कर रहे हैं बेसिकली.
नहीं, हम वो नहीं कर रहे. हम we are following Bhagavad. For us, Bhagavat is the main.
धर्म अर्थ धर्म हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं, हम लोग जॉब कर रहे हैं अभी,
हाँ,
वो धर्म नहीं हुआ वो।
वो धर्म हुआ, बट दिस धर्म विच हैज बीन टॉक्ड अबाउट ओवर हियर इज वैदिक धर्म. हम लोग तो एक्चुअली शूद्र का काम कर रहे हैं. हम लोग का, हम किसी के
मतलब हम ये भी नहीं फॉलो कर
ये भी नहीं कर रहे हैं. Yes. Dharma, artha, kama, and then finally go for the moksha. So moksha over here is liberation. However, liberation is in terms of the impersonal liberation being talked about. Of course, it's not only impersonal liberation. Bhagavatam, there is a personal liberation. There are 5 kind of liberation. This is coming in 3rd canto. Going to come. Right? Sarokya, Sabhapya, Sarishti, and all those. So Bhagavatam even rejects that.
Yeah, that's not needed.
That's
We want
not,
to
yeah.
do service of God.
So Bhagavatam even doesn't accept that. Or devotees who are following Bhagavat, practicing Bhagavad Dharma, they want the 5th goal, which is prema, which is serving the Lord. Right? That is the only thing they are looking for. Okay. So this is the prayojana, which is the fruit. So
प्रभु,
Vyas,
कहाँ है कि वो इम्पर्सनल मोक्ष है? तो बाकी के 4 मोक्ष में तो सर्विस है.
correct. But see, when we use the term Vaikuntha, right? So this Vaikuntha in general is like, if you say the whole spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there is a Vaikuntha planet over here, group of, and then there is a Goloka. So sometimes you will see that when we say Vaikuntha means we are referring to the entire Vaikuntha. However, when we sometimes say it is talking about particular Vaikuntha planets within the Vaikuntha Loka. That's where the distinction happens, Vaikuntha and Goloka. So Bhagavatam, whoever practicing Bhagavatam, their desire is to go to Goloka.
मेरी ऐसी अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी कि ये मोक्ष वो है कि we should not have a desire of getting liberation.
That is so is even higher.
Yeah, we should only desire कि मतलब हमें प्रेमा मिले, but मुझे ये ध्यान नहीं आ रहा कि if this was an impersonal मोक्ष के लिए है.
Impersonal moksha, personal moksha, दोनों के लिए है. That is शिक्षाष्टकम prayer. Therefore शिक्षाष्टकम prayer एकदम टॉप में था. या आपने वो हायरार्की देखा. That's what Lord Chaitanya is teaching.
मेरा हाईएस्ट वही है, मैं क्या थे, कृष्णा की सर्विस करनी है, यही हाईएस्ट है.
मम जन्मनि जन्मनेश्वर भवतात भक्ति हेतु की तो है. That's the highest. So that's what our goal is. However, when we come and Srila Prabhupada's classes, when you hear, he is talking about going back to Godhead all the time, isn't it? So in the beginning, it's okay. But as we mature in Krishna consciousness, then we come to this. So Prabhupada has given both the understanding. So it is not like something, it is better than, trying to enjoy here.
It's also a state of consciousness.
It's a state of consciousness.
Prahlad Maharaj didn't want to go back to God.
Yeah.
He said, I want to stay here and serve.
Perfect, yeah. For the sins of others. Yeah. It's a state. So as we progress, like, I mean, Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted everything,
Yeah.
including Brahmas. But then he's progressed. When he progressed, he changed it, right? So thereafter comes the chapter number 2, and this is the most important chapter. I mean, this can be studied again and again and again and again. So this is the so important chapter, divinity and divine service. So Sutta Goswami starts speaking, right? He starts speaking. Before speaking, he pays obeisances. And then, how he explains how to get free from this world. He explains that the perfection. So there are 2 questions that were asked. What is the ultimate good for the humanity? And what is the essence of all scriptures? These were the first 2 questions. And he establishes that bhakti is the ultimate good for humanity. And bhakti, understanding of the bhakti is basically giving, is the essence of all the scriptures. Right. So even Krishna says, Vedescha sarve rahameva vedya. Right. The goal of studying all the Vedas is to know me. But here, essence of all the literatures, he's saying bhakti is the topmost thing. Then he describes the process of obtaining Krishna from 11 to 15, and then the process and the result of devotional service. He explains from 16 to 22, and then worshipping Lord, the form of Lord Vishnu through devotional, so the process of bhakti that is also continued over here. And how by practicing bhakti, when you gradually practice bhakti, you are actually slowly, you're eradicating all your sins. And when the sins are there, mind will not be disturbed. So therefore, how you can continue your worship in the pure state of goodness is explained in these verses. And then in the last section, he answers the third and the fourth questions. Right. What is the third and the fourth question? He talks about Krishna's appearance and what is the reasons of Krishna's appearance to attract the pure souls. And then he answers about the Purusha avatars, which is, of course, part of it is in the second chapter and part of also it is in the third chapter. Okay. So the first two questions is about bhakti. The second two questions is about Lord's appearance. And the third, the last set of questions is about, or the last question is about Lord's disappearance. So here there are two different types of avatars he's talking about. One is Purusha avatar and other is the Lila avatars. Okay. So this is answer to question 3, and also this is more discussed in Canto 10 about Krishna's pastimes, because it's about Krishna's appearance. So here the verses are given. So this is a nice summary presented in this book, Bhagavata Subodhini. Gaurang Darshan Prabhu has done extraordinary work of summarizing the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. I think it's done with that. All the 12 cantos done. Yeah.
I've only seen till maybe
Nine.
7th or 8th. I
Yeah.
have it, but I
Yeah. I think it's almost done, looks like. Yeah. So it'll come in once he's done. Yeah. But this is really handy. It's so nicely done.
It's only in English.
It's only.
Telugu name.
You can ask him, you can write him Telugu and ask him.
Yeah.
You can translate, Prabhu.
Yeah. So the third chapter is about all the avatars. The Leela avatars is explained. Description of all there are 22 incarnations discussed, and description of the Purusha avatars are there in the beginning of the third chapter. And then basically after discussing this, he is saying that Krishna ete cha, so this is the Paribhasha Sutra 1.3.28. So Paribhasa Sutra is the underlying current of the entire book. That is the meaning of Paribhasa Sutra. What is there? The theme of the entire book. So the theme of the entire book is Sri Krishna. So there are 22 incarnations that are discussed. So Vyasdev says that I have discussed this incarnation. They are either plenary portion or portions of the plenary portions of Krishna. However, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishnastu Bhagavan Sayam. Right? Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. And the purpose of Krishna's incarnation is all of them appears in the planet whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheist. The Lord incarnates to protect the theist. Paritranaya sadhana. This is also there in Bhagavad Gita. Dharma samstatana. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkrita. Now, taking care of the demons is very easy for Krishna. He can actually substitute, give it to outsource. He can outsource, but but he doesn't, because that's a pastime, Leela pass. He wants to enjoy that rasa.
Was it beneficial for the
Yeah,
miscreants also?
miscreants also.
If
Yes,
they're destroyed
absolutely.
personally by Krishna.
They are liberated. So the Lord incarnates to protect, mainly that is the purpose. And Krishna himself comes from Goloka once in a day of Brahma. So this Vigrah, so this we have discussed in Canto 3. If you recall, in the beginning of Canto 3, chapter 1 to 5, that's where the discussion of the Yadu's disappearance, how that they are disappeared from this material world, that is discussed. So there it is discussed that this form that comes from this spiritual world of Krishna, our normal understanding is, when Krishna is here, he is not here, because we think in our terms. If I am in this room, I am not in that room. However, Krishna is not like that. So a Prakash expansion, which is fully independent and has same potency as Krishna, he manifests in every universe. So that is a Prakash form of Krishna that is explained. So the last question is, to whom have religious principles gone for shelter after his departure, right? And this verse is Krishna Swadhama Upagate. Krishna here, I tried to represent through a picture. He is going up. Swadhama Upagate. And then with Krishna, the dharma and the jnana and all these things goes with him. So in Kalo, at the same time, for the benefit of the devotees, and Krishna, sends this Bhagavatam. So this is the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. In absence of Krishna, the Bhagavatam has the same potency as Krishna. So therefore, this is a literary incarnation of Krishna himself. And these are the 6 questions. So after the disappearance of the Lord, one must take shelter of Krishna through Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, Bhagavatam is so important for us. Next comes chapter number 4, where Lord Narada Muni appears. So actually in the 4th chapter, there are 3 categories of, because those 6 questions are answered right away, right? So discussion has to continue, right? So they ask more questions. So because they heard about Vyasdev, they heard about Sukadeva Goswami, they heard about Maharaj Parikshit. So therefore, in the 4th chapter, in the beginning, they ask 3 categories of question. And the entire Canto 1 will be focused on this, answering this thing. So what are the 3 categories of question? They ask about Vyasdev, they ask about Sukadeva Goswami, they ask about Maharaj Parikshit. Right? So Vyasdev, he was a Trikalagya. He could see past, present, and future. Because here Vyasdev is none other than actually the incarnation of Krishna. He is literal,
Literally.
literal incarnation. He is a literal incarnation of Krishna. His name is Krishna Dvaipayana. He was born in the middle of water, actually. Dvipa.
Dvipa.
He was born there. And he was not born as us. As soon as he born, he just grown up. Right? And he left. So Vyasdev could see the deterioration of everything in the material world. So these are the symptoms of the age of Kali. Right? So decreased bodily strength, faithless, impatient due to lack of goodness. So our attention is not there because they are impatient. Because this is the characteristics of the mode of passion. Mode of passion keeps pushing. Right? Dull-witted, right? And reduced duration of life. And on top, we are unlucky. Yeah. So there are more details given. I'm not going to go into this. Thus, he contemplated for the welfare of men in all varnas and ashrama. And therefore, he wrote all the scriptures. And therefore, he put, because you cannot bring somebody directly to bhakti. So he wrote something which is palatable to them. Right? So he said, okay, you perform dharma. When you perform dharma, you get artha. When you get artha, then you can enjoy material things. And when you get tired, then you can go for moksha. So therefore, he wrote all these things. And then he wrote actually one book, and then he divided that book into 4. And not only him, but his disciples also. They divided the book Vedas into 4 different Vedas. right? Hmm. So it's like sorting things over here. Something is mixed, then they sorted it properly. So each Vedas will have particular subject matter. So that was done by him. However, after writing all this thing, he was totally dissatisfied. He was not satisfied himself. So Prabhupada, I have put it over here, is written a very nice statement over here. Perfection is never attained until one is satisfied at heart. One has to be satisfied. When we perform bhakti also, Krishna is saying that one has to be satisfied. One must susukham kartum avyayam. If bhakti appears to us as sudukham, right, then that is not bhakti. It has to be happily performed. And that happiness you will feel in your heart. That satisfaction you will feel in yourself. With, like when we eat, we feel I'm hungry. Right now I'm eating. I'm satisfied. And you get energy. There is a verse, right, in the 11th canto. Bhakti Parasanubhava
Wow. Yeah.
Virakti Randa. So basically that verse is talking about when you eat, similarly, yeah, when you get eat, then you get satisfied. Your hunger is satiated. You get energy. So similarly, when you perform bhakti properly in a proper mood, knowing all these things, what is the importance of bhakti? What is who is for whom I am performing? Is it not? It is not for our pleasure. Because when we are at the center, it becomes calm. But when Krishna at the center, and when we perform those activities of bhakti, then actually there is no problem. And then we get the satisfaction. This satisfaction of heart has to be searched out beyond matter. Yeah. So bhakti is not material. It is something which is come Goloka. And it can be only received, that proper seed can be only received from a bhakta, prema bhakta. So over here, Vyasdev was dissatisfied even after doing so much work. So at that time, he was thinking, that I have written something for the general mass of people for their benefit, but still I'm not satisfied. What could be the reason? So that time, his guru, Narad Muni, comes at the exact time. His guru appears to him and he explains in this chapter 5 that whatever you have written is not, basically it is. In fact, in some acharyas, they say that, even if you have given something which will entangle them further in this life. Right? Because you are going through dharma, artha, kama, right? This is entangling. So you have given such kind of material. Therefore, he says that whatever written is for the pilgrimage of crows. Pilgrimage of crows में मतलब क्या होता है? Where does the crow goes and sit? Garbage. So indirect way of saying that we have given garbage literature. Therefore, you are not satisfied. So then he says that then you write something about Krishna. That will give you satisfaction.
प्रभु अपन ऐसे कह तो रहे हैं गार्बेज, लेकिन अपन उतनी ही रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं पुराणास को और सबको, बिकॉज पुराणास आर आल्सो पार्ट ऑफ द वैदिक लिटरेचर,
Yes.
राइट? इवन दो नारद मुनि इज सेइंग दैट इज गार्बेज, राइट?
Yes. We cannot say that. I mean, I'm just repeating what is there in the
Yeah,
Bhagavad.
but we respect and
Of
we
course.
accept and
We
we
accept.
accept, right?
We respect because that is for us particular, and I think we have discussed this many times in the class also. We respect every literature because actually, if we are not respecting, we are, because it's coming from,
Committing an offense against the holy name.
it's coming an offense against the holy name. So we should respect because it is there for somebody. See, that uplifting doesn't happen
Overnight. Some
overnight.
segment of people need that literature.
Yes.
नहीं जो श्रीमद् भागवतम है वो समरी है सबकी, वो उसको इकट्ठा किया गया है इसके लिए। तो वो जो भागवतम में लिखा हुआ है वो किसी न किसी तरीके से पुराना में भी लिखा हुआ है।
If my understanding is that it is all about like four Vedas, right? I don't think so. He's talking about Puranas. Right? So Vedas is what is primarily the Karma Kanda thing. Right? Puranas, even Puranas, they have like
References.
like
There are
it's
references.
different kind of Puranas for each of the modes,
Tamasic
right?
Purana.
Tamasic, right, and Rajasic and Sattvic, right? So the Tamasic or वो तो अपन considering whatever, right? So it's not that ki I'm going to say we don't read it. That's it. We don't disrespect it. But I think primarily he's talking about the Vedas part of it, right?
Vedas.
Four types of Vedas. What is it? Rig, Yajur, Samved, and
Veda.
Atharved, because they are all primarily more than 90% is always karma kanda activities, right? That's where I think Vyasadeva is also dissatisfied, and Narad also has a problem with that. Right?
And then there is Upasana Kanda also there. But see here that the point focus is that you're not given something which help them go back.
Exactly.
So that is the point.
Yeah.
Because that even the liberation when you get impersonal liberation, this physically you're stuck. You don't have service. So again, the discussion when happens in the very high level, we just have to read what they have given. We cannot interpret in the way we think actually, because we can commit an offense. So here, whatever literature, I mean, actually, first of all, these divisions of literature, he was only Vyasdev didn't do it. It was done by his disciples also. Of course, Vyasdev, it was under the guidance of, originally it was from Brahma, eh? Because if we see, it's coming from Brahma. He had these 4 verses which he received, and then Vyasdev was, then it went to Narada Muni from Narada, and from Narada to Vyasa, and so on. And then Vyasa to his disciples. So it was in a chain of disciplic succession, and they keep adding things. So in general, he's saying this. Now you are saying, oh, this portion you've written is this. This is a general thing. Also to highlight the importance of Bhagavatam, you say that. So then Vyasdev asks about Narada's previous life. So from verse 5 to 20, Narada Muni explains that how he came in association of Bhakti Vedanta and how his life transferred just by serving them and eating their remnants, right? So this is the whole life story. And then by the will of the Lord, his mother also passes away. So he goes to the northern direction and then he meditates based on the instruction which was given by the Bhakti Vedanta. And finally, he could see Lord in his heart. And before leaving the body, before leaving the present body, he immediately turns himself to a great devotee, which is Narada, in his next life. So this is the story of Narada Muni. So then after that, Narada Muni took a leave of Srila Vyasdev, vibrating his veena, and he's glorifying the Supreme Lord all the time. So then comes the question again. Next set of question will come by the sages. That what did Vyasdev do after that? So this is the sages of Namesharanya. This is a very nice picture indicating that this sages are performing yajna for thousands of years. Here, this is Shonaka Rishi, and this is Sutta Goswami, and these are all the sages.
Looks like Mahaprabhu.
So then Vyasdev meditated upon the instructions given by Nam. And in his meditation, the entire spiritual world was revealed. The whole darshan was given to him. So the result of his meditation, he saw Supreme Personality of Godhead along with his external energy, which was under his full control. And he saw the effect of external energy. And then how people are going to suffer, that's what he saw. So then Vyasdev, basically he said that I will now write it down, this literature. But before writing them down, he actually explains the whole Bhagavatam to his son, Sukadeva Goswami. He narrates the entire Bhagavatam to his son. सुखदेव गोस्वामी.
तो इसके बाद सुखदेव स्वामी ने परीक्षित महाराज को
As soon as Sukadeva Goswami was born, he goes to the jungle, and I'm not going into those details. But then Vyasdev sends his disciple, and they sing the Atmaram verse, and hearing that, he comes back. And then after that, Vyasdev narrates the entire Bhagavatam to his son. So there were three categories of question asked, if you remember. First category was about Vyasdev, second was Sukadeva Goswami. So now the topic, both these topics are over. So now the next set of the third answer will start here about Maharaj Parikshit. So Maharaj Parikshit, before going into the details of Maharaj Parikshit, the precursor to the appearance of or birth of Maharaj Parikshit is given. So events leading to the birth of Maharaj Parikshit is discussed, that how the Ashwathama, he killed massacred the son of Pandavas. And then this is where Krishna enters in Srimad Bhagavatam 1:7-17. The description is given same as Bhagavad Gita. Remember where Bhagavad Gita में कृष्णा की एंट्री कहाँ होती है? Anybody remember? First canto, first chapter, 14th verse. That's where Krishna enters in Bhagavad Gita. Here it is, first canto, 7th chapter, 17th verse. The entry is similar, where Krishna is a charioteer of Arjuna. However, here they are looking, because Ashwathama killed all the sons of the Pandavas, thinking that they are Pandavas. So now he took a vow that I am going to kill Ashwathama. So therefore they are in search of that. And then they finally found Ashwathama, and there was a short war between Arjuna and Ashwathama. And then Krishna instructs him how to, because he released Brahmastra. So he releases Brahmastra. So he has to release another Brahmastra to retract that Brahmastra. So there is a lot of details, but I'm skipping that. Finally, they capture him. This is Ashwathama. They capture him. This is Arjuna. And then Krishna tells him how to do this. So then once they bring them in front of Draupadi, because she was lamenting, all her 5 sons are dead. So there was a lot of agreements and disagreement with Draupadi's judgment between. So Pandavas, they wanted something, Draupadi wanted something else. She didn't want Ashwatthama to be killed. So Arjuna was given Krishna said, okay, Arjuna, you do. So what he did is basically they clean shaved. At that time, clean shaving the head was as good as like killing. Nowadays it's different.
Yuga changed.
The yuga changed. So they insulted him badly like this, and he lost his bodily luster and he was kicked out. So then comes chapter 8, very important. This is the second prayer in Srimad Bhagavatam. But in the first canto, this is a second prayer. What is the first prayer?
Maybe Arjuna's
Yes,
Krishna
just before.
versus-
When Arjuna was attacked by the Brahmastra, he know that Brahmastra is coming to kill. Still, Arjuna took time to pray to Krishna. So that is the first prayer. So this is the second prayer
In Bhagavatam.
in Bhagavatam. So there are many prayers. Next prayer will be Bhishma Pitama's prayers, like that. So when at that time, after this, Krishna was trying to live, and Ashwatthama comes back and releases second Brahmastra. And it was targeted towards the Pandavas, as well as it was targeted towards Uttara's womb. This is Uttara. So here the scene is that Uttara runs towards Krishna. She knew that, Brahmastra was released to kill his son.
So before that, Pandavas doesn't know that Brahmastra came.
No, here, see, Brahmastra is coming here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And these Pandavas are trying with their arrows and all these things.
No.
So Krishna first encounters this, and then he enters into the womb of Uttara. and saves Maharaj Parikshit. So this story will come again. Lord
प्रभु
Krishna.
ये सेकंड टाइम हो रहा है, सेकंड नॉट ब्रह्मास्त्र। कृष्णा एक बार पहले जाते हैं तो युधिष्ठिर महाराज मना कर देते हैं कि अभी नहीं जाओ, थोड़ी टाइम बाद जाना।
वो अभी बाद में आएगा।
ओके,
हम्म,
तो ये अभी
This is the
कृष्णा
first time.
पहली बार जा रहे हैं।
पहली बार जा रहे हैं. So this is a Brahmastra coming, and Krishna, a very nice description is given. In the womb, he protects. And this is a summary of Queen Kunti's prayer. Like she offers her prayer in such a way that how knowing the Lord is so difficult. Still, I am very fortunate to know him. Right? And then she explains the qualification to approach the Lord. And the Lord's nature is inconceivable and bewildering. And the opinion on Lord's birth, there are various different opinions. And then finally she appeals for the association. So these are very nicely charted here to understand the mood of Srimati Kunti Devi towards Krishna. And then the next chapter is passing away of Bhishma Dev. And that's in the beginning of the chapter. After this, Bhishma Dev was waiting for the Uttarayan time to come. And actually he was waiting for Krishna too. Apparently externally he was waiting for the Uttarayan time, so that it is a very auspicious time, because he's a yogi and he wants to set examples for other yogis how to live this world. So the passing away of Bhishmadev in presence of Krishna. So Krishna takes because the backstory is that Yudhishthir Maharaj was lamenting. Why is lamenting? Because so many people have got killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and he is responsible for those killing. He's thinking himself responsible. And nobody could convince him. Not even Krishna.
Even
Because
Vasudeva tried.
huh?
Even Vasudeva tried.
Yeah, everybody tried. Everyone tried, but nobody could actually convince him. So this was Krishna's plan. Acharyas reveal that Krishna, sitting in heart, didn't let him get convinced by the arguments. So therefore he takes him to Bhishma Dev. And then there is a lot of discussion. There is a entire Bhishma Parva where a lot of question and answer happens between Bhishma Dev and Maharaj Yudhishthir.
बाबू ये तो भीष्मदेव तो मतलब कि सबसे पहले मरे थे, मतलब
उनको शॉट एरो लगा था,
एरो लगा था, लेकिन
He was alive.
उनकी इच्छा
तो वॉर के बीच में ही था ना ये तो।
He was on the side of the war field.
नहीं नहीं, कहने का मतलब है कि हम ये कह रहे हैं कि युधिष्ठिर ने ये माना कि भी वो सबके लिए जो मरे हैं लोग उसके जिम्मेवार वो है।
हाँ
ठीक है, लेकिन वो तो वॉर चल रही थी तब।
नहीं, वॉर खत्म हो गया
के
ना।
बाद होता है काफी
वॉर
बार।
खत्म हो
ये
गया।
वॉर खत्म होने के बाद
वॉर खत्म हो गया, लास्ट राइट्स हो गया,
सब कुछ हो गया।
महाराज
उसके
किंग
बाद
बना दिया।
गए।
हाँ, उनके बाद जाता, काफी दिन बाद जाता।
वॉर
See-
हुआ दिसंबर में, दिसंबर 1 to 18, और भीष्मदेव गए 14 जनवरी को। तो
नहीं
वॉर खत्म
नहीं,
होने
इस
के भी
स्थिति में कब
कितने-
आए वो?
ये
ये
तो 10th
वॉर-
डे पे आ गए।
वॉर के ये तो
10th
फर्स्ट
डे पे
सबसे
आ गए।
पहले
10th डे पे हुआ।
10th डे पे आ गए। वॉर
सबसे
स्टार्ट
पहले यही मतलब कि इनको
हाँ, पर
स्थिति में लेकर आए ना
he
वो।
still stayed
नहीं,
alive।
वो stayed
हाँ,
to
but
alive।
10th डे पे ही fall down, 10th डे पे।
और मिलने के लिए बाद में गए सब।
हाँ, मिलने के
मिलते
लिए
वैसे रोज भी थे जितना
हाँ।
दिखाया है एपिसोड्स में, बट इन्होंने बॉडी तो 14th जनवरी को लीव करी थी ना, जब सन
Uttarayan came.
उत्तरायण में, उत्तरायण मीन्स फ्रॉम साउथ द सन स्टार्टेड गोइंग टुवर्ड्स नॉर्थ।
उत्तर
Makara Sankramana.
मकर संक्रांति दिन बड़े होने लग जाते हैं ना, तब द मोमेंट सन केम इन उत्तरायण देन।
correct. Yeah. So there is a lot of discussion in Bhagavatam. The entire discussion is there in just one verse, right? One or two verses like that. So discussion between Maharaj Yudhishthir and, because see, he's talking about dharma
In
and all.
Mahabharata there is 16 chapters.
Yeah, there's a lot.
What Bhishma Dev did.
Full parva is there.
Parva is the entire Parva. So while Bhishma was describing at that time the auspicious time of Uttarayana came, and then Bhishma Dev, he focused, he forgot about everything external, and he focused his entire consciousness in Krishna. Basically, because he was in a Virya ras, he was attached to that form where Krishna is actually running towards him, and he's sweating, and the blood and all these things are coming out. So he's saying that now I can meditate upon Lord Krishna, having transcended the misconception of duality in regard to the presence in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but he is one. So this is how he focused his eye on Krishna and he left the body. After that, Krishna took second chance of going back to Dwarka, because he was in Hastinapur for so long. So he again goes back to Dwarka. He is trying to go back. So at that time, Yudhishthir Maharaj, no, actually he leaves. He leaves Dwarka. He leaves Hastinapur and he goes to Dwarka. And the chapter 11 is Krishna's entrance into Dwarka. That is discussed in chapter 11. How is Dwarka? How the devotees are excited. When Krishna enters, he blows his conch shell, and all these things are discussed very nicely in this. And then in chapter 12, there is a continuation of that same topic about Maharaj Parikshit, because that topic was deviated. So, no, actually not deviated. This is all coming to the birth of it's a chronological birth of Maharaj Parikshit. So, in the womb, actually, Maharaj Parikshit, she sees Krishna in the womb. And the form of Krishna, what he saw was, it was thumb high, he was transcendental, with shining gold crown, beautifully blackish, and with cloth like lightnings. So this is the personality what he saw in the womb. When he came out, he was searching for this personality everywhere. Therefore, his name was Parikshit. He was looking for them. Right? After his birth, there was a lot of favorable signs of zodiac manifested, and then they did a yagna, right? And many sages, and even Krishna came in that yagna. You see, Krishna is present. So this is a celebration happened, and then they called Brahmins, and they did the chart study. In India, they do horoscope, right? So they did all these things. And in his chart, it was written that he leave his body by a snake biting him. So that was also written. So this yagna has been performed. The child was called Parikshit Examiner, because he constantly remembered the Lord whom he saw in the womb and searched for amongst all men. And he grew up very nicely, because his grandparents, Yudhishthir, all the Pandavas were there. So they trained him very nicely. Thereafter, Krishna bid farewell to Yudhishthir and Draupadi and other relatives and started for Dwarka. This is the second time easily. Actually, third time. First time it was stopped. Right. So now he goes to Dwarka with Arjuna and Yadus. So this time Arjuna also travels with him. Suddenly in the middle, you'll see this chapter which comes, Dhritarashtra quits home. So why this chapter is introduced? Because this, after Canto 1, there will be Canto 2, Canto 3 and Canto 4. In Canto 3, you will see there is a discussion between Maitreya Rishi and Vidura. So this Canto 3, there's a long discussion between whom? Maitreya Rishi and Vidura. So when this war happened, Vidura, he didn't participate because he was insulted. So he left and he didn't participate, and then he goes to the places of pilgrimage. Right? Different places of pilgrimage. So there he meets a personality. Whom? You recall? Uddhava. He heard that Krishna left this world. So he knew, but he still meets Uddhava and he asks about Krishna and all these things. And he wanted to hear what was the discussion between Uddhava and Krishna.
Prabhu, पिलग्रिमेज पे वो गए हैं 36 इयर्स के लिए।
Yes.
ये मेरे को लगता है दो बातें अलग अलग होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि आप कह रहे हैं वॉर के टाइम पे वो गए हैं,
हाँ,
राइट?
वार के टाइम में गए।
तो बट कृष्णा तो वॉर के भी 100 इयर्स के बाद तक रहे हैं।
नहीं नहीं।
नहीं,
After war 36 years.
36 years.
Yeah.
That's
हाँ
उतना ही तो रूल किया ना पांडवस ने।
Pandavas.
हाँ, यस 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 36
they were 99 when the war started. Around
हम्म
around 99.
तो वहां पे
Yes,
they met Uddhava. He met Uddhava, and he wanted to get instruction from Uddhava. But Uddhava said that, first of all, you are elder to me. Plus, Krishna has given me instruction to go to Badrik ashram to preach there, because
Uddhava
the
Gita
saints
is
were.
called.
Uddhava Gita was spoken in Dwarka
Oh, in Dwarka.
by Krishna to Uddhava.
When Krishna gave.
But this is a discussion he's talking about when Krishna was leaving the material world
Right.
at that time. So he said that when the discussion between me and Krishna was happening, actually he says the discussion between Maitreya and Krishna was happening. I was just present there. So he's humble. Uddhava is humble. So he's saying, but anyway, he's saying that why didn't you hear it from Maitreya Rishi? He was there, he was present. So therefore, he goes to Haridwar and meets Maitreya Rishi over there. So what is the discussion that happened between Vidura and Maitreya Rishi? That is discussed in Canto 3 and Canto 4.
प्रभु आप कह रहे हैं कि मैत्रेय ऋषि भी वहां पे थे, बट उद्धव गीता जब बोली तब मैत्रेय ऋषि नहीं थे, वो दैट इज ओनली बिटवीन कृष्णा एंड उद्धव।
Uddhava, yeah. But he is not asking about Uddhava Gita.
No, this is a different discussion.
It's a different discussion. Actually, if I'll send you the timeline, because there's a timeline which
ये हमने बहुत बार डिस्कस किया,
क्लास में बहुत बार डिस्कस किया हुआ
we
है.
have discussed this. मेरे पास
So-
लिखी हुई है नोट्स, बट आई डोंट नो।
I'll send you that notes in timeline दिया हुआ. It is confusing, but however, it is very confusing. But you have to,
If you see this picture, after that the content comes, which happened before.
After disappearance
Yeah.
of Krishna.
For example, here, Dhritarashtra is going to forest. No?
Hmm.
This happened after the
Krishna leaves.
yeah. So Vidura met Maitreya much before that.
Yes.
That is the reason.
So that is third canto and fourth canto.
Right.
At the end of fourth canto, it is said that Vidura abruptly leaves for Hastinapur,
Awesome.
and he actually comes here.
Mhm.
So that is what is discussed here. This is after Vidura heard from Maitreya Rishi in third canto and fourth canto. And then he comes to save his brother, his elder brother, Dhritarashtra and
To
Gandhari.
rescue him. That's
So he comes and then he discusses with them that, you're too attached and all these things. And then he said, you need to immediately live with me. And then he lives and they go to the forest, and there very quickly Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they both practice yoga, and then they
born in yoga.
by practicing Ashtanga yoga, from his body the fire comes out, and then Gandhari enters into this fire, and they both leave this material world. And then after that, Vidura goes for the pilgrimage.
Prabhuji, one question is there.
Yes.
Dhritarashtra was in jail, right? Because he tried to kill Bhim when they returned back to the palace after the war. And so he was put into the jail.
No.
So did they release him, you mean to say?
He was, I don't know which version of Mahabharata. I mean, he was not put into jail. He was actually
Treated
kept
like
very,
a elder.
he was treated very
Because he
badly.
tried to hug tight and kill. He tried to hug tight and kill, right? But Krishna put the statue instead of Bhim hugging when he was welcomed back to Mathura.
Wow.
No, I think this is cinema Mahabharata, exactly. I'm hearing first time that he was put in
The
jail.
Vyasa Bharata, it is not written like that.
Yeah. Vyasdev's Mahabharata, I think it's not.
थैंक यू प्रभु।
Okay, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So the disappearance of Krishna. So that is chapter number 14. So here we see that Arjuna actually goes with
Krishna
right,
to Dwarka.
to Dwarka.
He
And
spends
then,
some time.
yeah, so he spent some time with that, with him. And at that time, Maharaj Yudhishthir, Hare Krishna, start seeing some inauspicious signs.
Yeah.
Right? So fearful change of time and irregularities in the season, people becoming greedy, deceitful, adopting foul means of livelihood, dealings were filled with deception, and friendship myths with cheating. So all these things are
Kali.
symptoms of Kali. So those kind of symptoms he was seeing, and after that, he could understand in the mind he was there that did something happen with Krishna. However, he was not actually like fully, unless he hears from Arjuna, he would not be convinced about that. So Yudhishthir finally, when Arjuna comes back, he was very dejected. So Yudhishthir asked him very different kinds of questions. That why are you dejected? Did you perform some adharma? It's very interesting actually.
Yeah.
Why you are feeling dejection? Yeah. So anyway, finally he asks about Krishna's disappearance, and he comes to know that Krishna left this material world. So after that, the Pandavas decided to retire. That is chapter number 15. All the Pandavas, they retire and they go to the northern direction. And then
प्रभु ये अभी कौन सा कैंटो चल रहा है?
this is Canto 1,
Canto one.
chapter
First में
15. Canto 1 में 18 chapters, 19 chapters. ये chapter number 15 चल. So this is Pandavas retire timely. And then basically, I think ये गलत slide आ गया.
Yeah, this slide should be a little earlier.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, I'll skip
Yes, sir.
this. And in this, yeah. So the time Krishna left this material world, at the same time actually Kali entered. The day Krishna left, Kali entered into this material realm. So Yudhishthir, understanding the influence of Kali in increasing avarice and falsehood and cheating and all these things, he decided to actually leave home and leave this place. So he gave, before leaving, he already trained Maharaj Parikshit. So then he did the coronation of Maharaj Parikshit, and here is the coronation. After that, he left along with his brother and all, along with Draupadi also. They left towards the northern direction. So how Parikshit received the age of Kali, this chapter number 16. So Parikshit was a great ruler, and he was, he was ruling very well in all the direction, and he used to do a travel. His horses were black. Arjuna's horses were white. His horses were black. And he used to travel with his entire army to various places wherever he would go, he would hear about the glorification of Pandavas. So he was very happy hearing all these things. So once when he was traveling like this, he meets two.
करा के आया इसने 6 महीने हो गए
Krishna, Hare Krishna, please.
समर्स में गया कब गया वो
Please. Okay. So Dharini and Dharma, these are the two cows. One is bull and one is cow. So Dharma and Dharini was mother cow, and Dharma is the bull. They are representing Dharma and
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth. Yes. They were thus conversing, and at that time, they were actually going through a lot of suffering. So when Maharaj Parikshit saw this, he inquired that why are they suffering like this? Who actually caused them trouble? So they said this personality of Kali, he is actually beating them. So then this Kali description of Kali is given, that there are these 4 legs, 4 principles, which is austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truth. These 4 legs, out of these 4, 3 are already destroyed. Only 1 leg is remaining, which is truthfulness. And Kali is trying to destroy that too. So that time, this personality of Kali. So here one thing to understand is, this Kali is a personality. In Vedic understanding, everything is a personality. So he's a person in charge of the age of Kali. So this Kali was actually chastised and he was thrown out of the kingdom of Maharaj Parikshit. And whenever, till the time he was there on the earth, nothing was actually disturbed. Everything was going smooth. However, Kali had to do something to establish his entry. So therefore, he enters into the head of this Brahmana boy. And this is chapter number 18. Maharaj Parikshit was cursed by the Brahmana. So one time, Maharaj Parikshit was, because he's a king, he's a Kshatriya, has to perform his Kshatriya duties. So he goes to the jungle to practice hunting and all those things. So while doing that, normally he's like really powerful. He can control his thirst and hunger and everything. But one time he was very thirsty, and Prabhupada describes somehow or other, by the will of the Lord, he got disturbed. So he goes to the hermitage of a sage. Anyone remember the name? Shamika Rishi. So he goes to the home of Shamika Rishi and he was meditating. So he asks for water. But Shamik Rishi didn't respond. So what he did, he was not welcomed properly. So normally he would not do like that. But by the will of the Lord, what he did is he took a dead snake and put it as a garland around Shamik Rishi. His son, his name is Shringi, he hears that and he gets really mad. So this is the scene that has been shown in Bhagavatam. He is hunting, and here is Shamik Rishi, and he approaches him, and he didn't get the water, so basically he puts a dead snake. And his son got very angry. Shringi gets very angry, and he curses Maharaj Parikshit. And Samik Rishi gets very upset. See his expression. He gets very afraid because Maharaj Parikshit was very well-known king. He was a very pious king and everybody was very happy. So he said, for this small mistake, you have actually did the greatest blunder by cursing him. He curses him that he will die in 7 days. Now Maharaj Parikshit could have actually counteracted it. So then comes chapter number 19, appearance of Sukadeva Goswami. So Maharaj Parikshit could have contracted, but he didn't. He took this as a will of the Lord. So he gave up everything, and then he goes to the bank of Ganges. But somewhere, I think Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Jiva Goswami writes, he's in bank of Yamuna.
Yeah.
So there in Bhagavatam, it is saying glories of Ganges is discussed. So he was wondering, what should I have 7 days to live? What should I do? So then at that time, all over the world, the whole planet, sages came to know that Maharaj Parikshit is cursed. So they all come to take his association. So you see so many sages coming from different places. So he asked them, what should I do? I have 7 days. What should I do? So everybody, different sages, they say different things. So at that time comes Sukadeva Goswami. This is the entry of Sukadeva Goswami in the 19th chapter. And when Sukadeva Goswami comes, here you see Maharaj Parikshit, he falls flat, just the Dandavat Pranam, and then he actually takes shelter of it. And by asking 2 important questions. What are the 2 questions? These questions are really important for all of us. However, Sukadeva Goswami immediately answered this question. So he is saying that the questions are, O Guru of the saints, show me the way of perfection for all persons. What is good for, or what is a perfection for everyone, right? And especially for one who is about to die. What should that person who is about to die should do? Please let me know what a man should hear, what he should chant, what he should remember and worship and also what he should not do. This is the question that has been asked, and that is the end of Canto 1. So thank you so much. It was a very quick narration.
Yeah.
Recap. 800 verses. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Guru Parampara ki jai. Sukadev Goswami ki jai. Maharaj Parikshit ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Bol. Okay, yes, question. Yes. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mama.
Yes,
I had one question. Vasudev was himself an incarnation of Lord Krishna. Then why he got bewildered when first time he wrote Bhagavatam, like, and why Narad ji means came to like. मेरा क्वेश्चन ऐसा था कि बिकॉज वो बिविल्डर क्यों हो गए, वो तो खुद ही भगवान थे ना, तो वो पहली बार में उन्होंने प्रॉपर कंपाइलेशन क्यों नहीं किया?
because that literature, they can be seen in different ways. One way to see is that there are so many people not only looking for pure bhakti, they are looking for something else also. So something has to be written for them. That is one way to understand. Also, to establish the superior position of bhakti over the other processes, Narad Muni has to come like this, and we have to explain that you are not satisfied, because that satisfaction will not happen when you are interested in dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So the satisfaction you will only derive when you will engage yourself in unalloyed, unmotivated, pure devotional service. That is my understanding. Anybody would like to share?
No, I think you covered that. It is a, though he's what he come under what Shaktivish avatar.
Literary, yeah, Saktavis. He is a literary incarnation of basically Shakti, the knowledge potency.
So we say that even Ashwatthama will be the next Vyasadeva. Right? So he's Shaktiavash avatar. He's a jiva who's empowered.
Yeah.
So I mean, he may not be Sakshat Bhagwan always.
However, yeah, so this particular Vyasdev is a Sakshat Bhagwan. Yeah. But other Vyasdevs are not. Yeah. Vyasdev comes in every age, every like you see Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, Kali, right? So again the next cycle will be there, Satyug, Treta. In that again Vyasdev will come. However, this particular Vyasdev is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. I mean, in the sense.
So he is not Shaktivish avatar.
He is representing the literary incarnation, literary writing skills of the Supreme Lord. But the Lord himself. Does it make sense?
Yes, Mama.
Okay.
And Mama, one more question. I don't know it will sound sensible or not, but Arjuna had white horses. This question was from Janvi actually. Arjuna had white horses and Parikshit had black horses. So black colored horses. So is there any significance of color, or it's just like that?
No, I don't know. Yeah, it's just it was just mentioned that he had black horses. I think there was no significance kind of. At least I don't know about that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, if not, we'll stop here. Thank you so much for joining. We'll summarize Canto 2 and probably beginning of Canto 3.
तो प्रश्न हमेशा रहता है
Yes, yes.
क्रिएशन क्यों बोलते हैं कैंटो में, क्या है इसमें क्रिएशन?
Yes,
वेरी
yes.
ब्रीफ पुरुषावतार का डिस्क्रिप्शन है, बट that's more elaborate in the later cantos. But why this particular canto is always called?
Prabhupada has named it as creation, but in general, if you see, that is in the second canto, the 10th chapter, वहाँ पे the more description is given that actually creation is there in every canto. But so have you heard anything like?
I'm to say what I heard is the true. I think Atra Sarga Visarga. I think it starts from third canto onwards. So
Because it
third
is
canto is
that,
yeah, and then second like so that's what I heard. And also in the
Third
last,
makes more sense, no?
and,
Third
and in the
time-
last, that's why I heard from Amritabu, and in the last, the ashraya that comes, first it goes like
10th canto.
10th canto, yeah, it is last, then first goes
Bhakti
like,
Guru tha baad mein.
then 11th, 12th, and then come 10th. Like if you see that sequence, Atra Sarga Visargasya Sthanam Poshanam
Correct.
Utaya, right? So first it goes like third, fourth, fifth,
That's the
sixth,
topic,
seventh,
hai na?
eighth, ninth, and then 11, 12, and then comes 10th, actually, which is the ashraya. which is-
That makes more sense, but yeah.
Yes, I think when we discussed, and I don't recall right now too much, but let me just try. This is second canto summary. This is there in the 9th chapter, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
See,
exactly. Yeah.
So Sarga is canto 3, primary creation. Visarga is canto 4. Sthanam is canto 5. Poshanam is canto 6. Manvantar is 7. Ish Uti.
8 कर दिया है.
हाँ, Manvantar is 8.
8.
8 है.
8, sorry, sorry.
हाँ, हाँ.
7, 8.
Uti is 7. Ishanukata is 9th. Nirodha is 12th. Mukti is 11th. And then Ashraya is 10th.
This is the right one. This word
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So sometimes it's just like naming the.
And I think also Jiva Goswami says that every canto has all these things
Yes.
covered, but one specific thing is what is
Highlighted.
highlighted. Like Uti is what is highlighted in the canto 7, but also the other things are also.
Right. Okay. I think that's it. Right. Anything else? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री सुख स्वामी
Jai.
महाराज परीक्षित की जय। श्री सूत गोस्वामी की जय। शौनक ऋषि की जय। जय गुरु प्रेमानंदे। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna, Mama.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
हरे
Pranam.
कृष्णा। दंडवत।
Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्ण।
Thank you.
हरे कृष्णा। थैंक यू।